Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had an amazing start to your weeks. Today, guys, we're going to be jumping into Cardano, and right now you are at some crucial levels. I am convinced that a breakout is coming. We're going to talk about whether that's to the upside or downside in this video. There are lots of different calls getting thrown about. You guys will know in yesterday's video and on my Twitter, I've kept you up to date every day. Right now, I think you're in a horizontal triangle or an ascending triangle. And essentially, this is a bullish pattern. These usually, on balance and probability, break to the upside. And that's what I think you're doing. And since I posted this, guys, we've essentially been playing out to the schematic that I kind of compared it to. And we're going to show you some more examples of this and why perhaps you might be doing this. There's a number of reasons also why I think a breakout's coming, and one of the big ones is just how low the volume is. Also, you can see some real support being held in this kind of trend that we're in. These markets are but the traders among you out there that watch my channel will know just how frustrating. I've been watching these because I'm now making calls, and we've got a lot of calls right. In fact, we've got a pretty much 100% hit rate so far on Twitter for the calls that we've made. I've been watching these candles very, very closely to see how this is going to play out, and it has been nothing short of frustrating because these markets, because of the low volume, are not really doing a lot. It's very much staying stagnant, and these candles aren't, they're not showing any kind of clear direction. But ultimately, guys, I do absolutely think, and I could be wrong, we're yet to see. There are a lot of people calling for a big sell-off in the market. I think that comes a little bit later, perhaps. And when the word, by a big sell-off, I mean it's going to be a sell-off in proportion to the move that we've just made, and it's going to be a healthy correction that sets us up for more continuation. As you guys know, I think we're going to finish this year in a pretty epic manner. But ultimately, guys, I still think you're in this pattern. And I think you're just coiling up, and I do think my bias is there are always two probabilities to every single situation. You go up or you go down. Now, I believe that my bias is up. I think that you are going to break out to the upside, and we're going to see continuation. It's going to tie in very, very nicely with the Alonzo hard fork, which I believe is 13 days away. We're going to talk about something else that's coming very soon, and that is the ERC-20 converter. So people will be able to convert their projects from ERC-20 tokens on Ethereum over to the Cardano network. We touched on this. I don't really want to keep going over and kind of slating Ethereum because I know there's many of you out there that hold it. I'm an ETH holder myself. I just think that the network has a lot of shortfallings at the moment, and something like Cardano is going to capitalize on that. So I love you too as well, you Ethereum holders. I'm not hater by any means. It's one of my biggest holdings, ETH, and I wish it all the best. But I'm just saying it how it is. So this is essentially what we're in, guys. Now, there is a lot of people calling for a sell-off, and this is our kind of Elliott wave theory. You guys know we're on our fifth and final wave, and this is essentially the first wave within that, as you have Elliott wave theory play out within Elliott wave theory. You have the bigger time and the smaller time, and you can see that. Now, I would like to have kind of seen us come back some more to this EMA, but if you look here, guys, you don't actually do it, and this is the weekly. I'll show you on the daily. You do on the daily, and I still would like to see this. Can you see our first kind of breakout? So you come up and you come back, and you kind of use it as support in an uptrending market, much the same as in a downtrending or a downtrend, you use it as resistance. So we are getting close, and that's essentially what this coiling up is allowing us to do. It's allowing us to come a little bit closer to it. Now, if I show you some examples, guys, we'll just use Google for this. This is what we're looking at here, guys, and these break typically to the upside. I'll show you plenty of examples. Can you see this? You get kind of coil up around your resistance. Can you see these are just some live examples? They come in many different forms, but what you've essentially got is you've got an ascending support, and you've got your sort of horizontal resistance, and you're kind of coiling up, and these will typically break to the downside. Not always. This is more of an ascending triangle. But this is what I believe you're potentially looking at here, guys. Not that. That's not what we're on about. I'm just trying to show you some examples of what we could be looking at. Can you see this? And now you're coiling up, and you come into the end. We're going to know very, very shortly. I mean, it's been a couple of very close calls here, but if you look at this, I mean, you can see how this 20 acted as an EMA. When we failed the 20, we came right down to the 50 and the kind of base of this ascending support. there's lots of support going on here. I mean, if we look at Bitcoin, I actually think Bitcoin could be on the verge of a bit of a breakout. You know, it's coiling up in much the same manner, right around previous resistance that we're now kind of using as support. And it's coiling up in a very similar manner. And if you look at these candles, guys, I mean, just look at the kind of, you know, look at the wicks on these candles. It's just showing a lot of indecision, and there's such low volume at the moment. I mean, look at the volume. That I do believe we are going to get a breakout. It's not going to take a lot to move these markets. And I'm looking at Bitcoin on the weekly, and it's MACD. You form that bullish cross, guys. I think you're in for a pretty good. You know, I do believe that the end of this year is going to end in a very similar way to 2017, and prior to that, 2013. And that's what we're kind of expecting. But we're stuck in a bit of a rut right now, guys, and we really need to, you know, we need to clear it. And I'm ultimately still on the bias that we're in a pattern right now, and we are hopefully going to break to the upside. There's no guarantee with that. That's just my bias, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. We are keeping you up to date on Twitter, so head over to @RealAllInCrypto. We are playing out in very much the same manner. You know, we're coiling up in here, and that's really where we're at. And you know, we're 13 days away from smart contracts. We're 13 days away from Cardano being able to manage smart contracts, and you've been able to use smart contracts on the Cardano network. This is the ecosystem. Some of them, it's growing every single day. You know, and all these projects are going to need Cardano essentially to facilitate their transactions, much the same as you need Ethereum to interoperate with, you know, DeFi and Ethereum. You're going to need Cardano to interoperate with these protocols. This is going to be a real driver for the demand, certainly, you know, when people see the sort of yield farming, etc., that comes out of here. I'm very excited myself. I think I'm going to make a video on Sunday Swap and ADAX. These are two exchanges that I'm looking at. We will cover some more. We have covered a number of projects like Meld, Liquid, and Charlie 3 so far. We're going to cover Wolfram, Alpha, and Ergo. But Sunday Swap and ADAX actually had a bit of a run, and you can actually buy it on an exchange right now, so you can actually get your hands on it. So we're going to cover those two projects. So what do you guys think? Do you think we are in for a break to the upside or downside? My bias is up. Lots of big YouTubers out there calling for a breakdown, which ties in nicely with, you know, typically in September, Bitcoin sells off and takes the market with it. It doesn't happen every September, but it happens more Septembers than it doesn't. I kind of think that we've had such a horrific sell-off, you know, May into you know, we've only recently recovered from it. It's been a month or so. That could have flushed out enough in order for us to see continuation. And in terms of Cardano, we are seeing a number of altcoins really act independently, and I think Cardano could do that, you know, to the Alonzo Hardfork. This is I can't understate how significant this hard fork really is for the network and for everything. And this was an article I was reading. Cardano will launch an ERC-20 Ethereum converter bridge next week. I think this is going to be used. You know, Cardano will launch new ERC-20 converter bridge next week as the company founder Charles Hoskinson targets Ethereum token as ripe fruit for the picking. And I think he's got a point here. I think people think I'm being a bit harsh on Ethereum. I'm not. I actually like Ethereum, and like I say, it's in my top 3 holdings right along with Cardano. But the user experience, and there's actually people trying to argue with me that it's a great user experience and that it's not somewhat broken. Let's get things straight. You know, it's a pretty bad user experience. It's delusional to think that paying $50 to transact or to interoperate with a smart contract or any kind of DeFi and Ethereum is normalcy. That's a worse deal than the current legacy systems, and the whole point of crypto is to move away from them and put the power back into the people's hands. That's not going to work if the people are getting a bad deal, and it's worse than, you know, the centralized systems that we already have in place. Now, I think Ethereum are going to solve this with ETH2, but I've been waiting for ETH2 for a very long time, literally for as long as I've been in crypto. And there's always been some kind of delay or this or that, or they're changing the consensus or whatever it may be. But they are going to work it out. And, you know, I do think they'll get back on track. But this, you know, for the meantime, DeFi is going to go where it's best served, much the same as me as a customer is going to do a similar thing. And that's what I believe we're going to see. I do think we're going to see quite a few projects migrate over to Cardano, which is just going to excel the demand. And it's a very heavily staked, over 70% of Cardano is staked. Yes, the stake is somewhat liquid in terms of there's no lock-in period. You can move it quite freely, but it really shows a confidence in the network, and I think that's going to continue to grow. And then you have the remaining crypto, the remaining supply of Cardano that's essentially going to get shared around all these protocols, and you know, go in to facilitate transactions, etc., etc. So you're going to see a real supply crunch, I think. So that's really where we're at, guys. Bit of a brave call to make. We've made a lot of risky calls recently, because this isn't, even though you are in this pattern. If you go to your RSIs, other than the stock RSI, which actually looks quite good on Cardano, if you go to your RSIs on any kind of a major time frame, you know, you can see that there is room for downside. I mean, if you look at certainly on the weekly where you are, you can see there's room for downside. But ultimately, I think the Alonzo hard fork is going to play a big role, and I do believe that you are now in this kind of horizontal triangle. We've shown you quite a few examples of this. Can you see this? You know, and these usually will play out to the upside. So that's all I have for you guys. Just a short and sweet video. Watch out for the not pancake swap, the Sunday swap video and the ADEX video. I'm going to start covering some more projects because I'll actually be getting my hands on both. We've already got the ADEX, but we will be doing the ISO, initial stake pool offering for Sunday swap. As I think there is a real need for a DEX in the Cardano ecosystem. Much the same as Uniswap, there's still a huge need for it because people can get in and out of projects. I recently picked up some projects yesterday on Uniswap, even though the fees were ridiculous. But I suppose that's just the price you pay, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to have that kind of access capital that goes to waste, really. Or I suppose it doesn't. I suppose it helps run the network, but whatever. All right, guys, I'm going to love and leave you on that note. I hope you found this video useful and entertaining. And that's really all I have for you today, guys. We still believe that a breakout is coming. We think that, look at this volume. It's non-existent. You're about to get that bullish cross on Bitcoin, I believe. And, you know, we'll see where things go from there. So that's all I have for you guys. We're on a bit of a cliff's edge right now. Will it break to the upside? Will it break to the downside? Time will tell, but our bias is we break to the upside. That's all I have for you in this video, guys. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. Hopefully, I will see you all in tomorrow's video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the content, a like is always appreciated. So is a comment, and I'll catch you in the next one.